Here today with Brett Ratliff of the Camden Corrigan Bulldogs. How you doing today, Coach?
Good. Thank you very much for having me on.
You're welcome, sir. So we're in the spring. You guys are incredibly busy right now. You've got all kinds of sports that have just ended or in the playoffs, or and you've got graduation coming up in a couple of weeks. But you're getting to see your kids are going to be on the team out there competing these other sports and getting to see them in the weight room. So how are things going in the spring?
Oh, they're great. And I tell everybody that I run into, as a football coach during football season, we're really, really busy, but we are definitely, a lot one track minded. We have other sports going on at the time as an athletic director, but we are worried about Friday night football for sure. And when you get into the spring, you think that you'd have an opportunity as a head football coach to take a kind of a step back and relax. Well, that is absolutely not the case. You are crazy busy during the spring, but it's a time that, just like you said, you get an opportunity to look at your kids in other sports and compete and start to wrap your mind around what needs to be done to get yourself prepared to be successful for the next year. And I'll tell you, we've been really busy. Our boys basketball team, we won the district title. Our track team won the district title. We just won the by-district title in baseball. We won the district championship in golf. So, man, I'll tell you what, our athletes have been competing at a very, very high level. We're very excited about those guys and what they're going to bring to the table next year for football. And yeah, I'm excited about taking the field with those guys in 2023.
Now you went 10-2 last year, which was the best record there at Camden Corrigan since 2014. So kind of walk us through who's graduating, who might step into those roles, and who you're going to have back.
Yeah, it was a great season. I'll tell you what, I love those guys, and I definitely love the seniors that we're losing. They're pretty irreplaceable. I'll tell you, as far as their experience and their love and passion for the game. We're losing 20 seniors, and the 2A Division I level, that is a lot of athletes, and there's a lot of athletes at a lot of crucial positions. But I'll tell you what, our underclassmen were really good. They learned a lot from the seniors. We had a great JV and a great eighth grade squad, and a lot of those guys are going to get opportunities to come in and play immediately now since we lost so many. So we're excited about the future. It's definitely not a reset. It's just basically a reload.
Now, when you're in a small community like you are there, the school plays such a crucial, critical role in the community. So talk a little bit about the kind of spirit that creates in the community when your sports teams have success.
Oh, there's no doubt. I'll tell everyone all the time that a great athletic program, not just football, but an entire athletic program, is the pulse and the energy of a school district. If you're doing well and you're successful and those kids are learning great, valuable life lessons and they're having fun and winning, man, it creates a great excitement that carries over into the school. So when they're in the classrooms, there's a little bit of a different atmosphere. And then it brings so much passion and pride into the community. I will tell you what, looking up at the stands on a Friday night during a football game all year this year was amazing. Our community support, they were coming out of the woodwork to watch us play. They were excited about what we were doing, excited about the kids and how they were competing. And it was a lot of fun. But the better you are, obviously, the more excited people get. So we got to keep that going.
All right. So kind of walk us through your district and what you think that's going to look like in the fall.
Yeah, I think that we have a very difficult district, very challenging district, which was the case last year. You have Normandy, Leon, and West Hardin, which I believe all will be better than they were last year, in the fact that I think that they're a lot of more new coaches and establishing new offensive and defensive systems, a lot like I did 2 years ago, 3 years after this previous year. But I think that they're going to be a little bit more well-rounded and understand the offensive and the defensive schemes they're trying to do. They return a lot of kids. So I think those three teams will be more difficult. Growthton is a rivalry game for us, and they desperately want to take one from us. They have a lot of returning guys, especially their running back, which I thought he was a very talented kid, and he was only a freshman last year. So they're going to be definitely very formidable. But then you have what I believe is the district favorite, and that's Centerville. Centerville lost several key athletes, but they returned more than they lost. And they have had 2 very, very impressive years. And I think they're going to try to put that together again. We beat them 2 years ago when we weren't in their district in overtime, in a season where they went to the quarterfinals. And then last year, they took it to us in the district championship game, a game that I felt that we were trying to win the district title, and I felt they were trying to beat us up, and they did a good job of that. And Coach Hardy's got a great staff, a great group of kids, and they should be the district favorite. But I'd love to play them again in Week 10 for the district title.
All right. So you've been around Texas high school athletics for a couple of years. From your perspective in the stops where you've been and where you are now in at small school, what would you say the biggest challenge facing Texas high school athletics right now is?
I think there's a lot of challenges, but I think there's still a lot of amazing things that are happening with high school athletics in the state of Texas. I would definitely say one of the major challenges facing especially smaller schools, I think it started with larger schools, but it's definitely trickled into the smaller schools, is specialization of athletes. I think that we have a lot of kids nowadays that go and take so many private lessons, and they go to private trainers, which I believe is all well and good in the fact that they're getting extra work and making themselves better. But then sometimes that lends themselves to believe, and their parents to believe, that they need to definitely go in one specific direction. And when you do that, sometimes you hurt the total athletic program. And then you definitely hurt the kids, the student athletes, athletic experience in high school. And I believe that multi-sport athletes are more well-rounded. I believe they have a chance to compete better at a higher level. They might not be initially as prepared at the next level as a kid that just plays one particular thing, but I think the passion tends to stay with them a little bit longer if they play multiple sports. And I've seen that trend growing since I started in my career 17 years ago. And, this is my 10th year as the AD and head football coach. And I've seen that continue to grow. And I hope that we can get to the parents and to the communities and to these student athletes and let them know that, yes, go get all the private and extra training you want. Go play your select and your club sports. But let's make it a priority to help your school district and your sports athletic programs as much as possible in order so we can all be as best as possible. And it creates a great experience for the student athlete to play multiple sports. So hopefully we can continue to work on that.
Plus there's the aspect of at 14, 15, 16 years old, you don't know where you're going to wind up. How many 14, 15, 16-year-olds wind up doing what they think they're going to be doing at that age? No.
There is a lot in the air. So my thing is you always want to keep your options open, and you want to be a kid. You want to have fun. You want to play with your friends. And there's so many opportunities where these kids are just traveling with these guys that they might, hang out with on the weekends, but they're not their friends all the time, and they're playing one particular sport instead of multiple. So we definitely want to continue to work to educate our parents and our student athletes about that.
Okay, so let's go from real big picture to real small picture. Let's try and learn a little bit about Brett Ratliff. What would you say your number one guilty pleasure is?
Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm definitely a movie nut. I love to watch movies. I'm one of those guys. I like to fish and hunt and all that and play a lot of golf. But I guess if you have to say what my one guilty pleasure is I love professional wrestling. And I love professional wrestling. I love to watch it. And, nowadays there's kind of been a resurgence in professional wrestling, and there's a lot of different brands that you can watch. And I enjoy watching. I love the storylines. I love the competitions, but it's my soap opera, I guess you can say.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you very much for your time today. Best of luck as you wrap up the school year and move into the 23 season.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate you having me, Tony.
LoneStarGridiron.com. Access the complete history of Texas high school football, over 100 years of information, win-loss records, coaching histories, individual stats, records, and more. Lone Star Gridiron, the authority on Texas high school football.